Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Ahlan wa sahlan. Welcome, guys. My name is Liaquat. This is my channel, Roots of Knowledge. Many of you guys are familiar with this channel. Many of you guys might be first time guests to my channel. If you want to become better than a guest, then hit the subscribe button, and inshallah you will be a subscriber. So this channel, basically, we make lots and lots of videos, and check them out for yourselves for Arabic, Quran, Hadith, Fiqh, all kinds of things that you might want to learn about Islam. I try to make the best quality videos as possible. I'm always trying to improve my videos. So this series is about covering a text called Mukhtasar al-Qudoori. It's a very well-known text, Hanafi Fiqh. If you guys are interested in this, stay tuned and watch the video. Today we are going to be talking about the famous topic of the Sajdah of Sahw. So let's see what's happened now. So now today I've actually taken a whole chunk of text, right, and we're going to cover as much as we can. And because it was an entire section, I thought to myself, if I do half of it and then half, then it's kind of going to be a little bit short. So I kind of made it like the whole thing. So let me know if you guys think this many lines being covered in the text is something which is okay for you guys to be able to handle, or if you think it's a bit too much for a video. Either way, put something in the comments, inshallah. And if you like my hat as well, like I said, put it in the comments as well. So he says, في القرآن 14 سجدة. Right, so first of all, let's look at the meanings of the words, or some of the meanings. Now, because we've covered quite a lot of the words before in the past, I'm not going to repeat them too much. So, for example, like you got ashara, which means 10, sajda, which means prostration. And then you got, these are all names of surahs: A'raf, Ra'ad, Nahl, Bani Israel, Maryam, Al-Ula fil Hajj, first one in Hajj, Al-Furqan, Al-Namal, Alif Lam Tanzil, Sad, Hamim, Sajda, Najm, Inshiqaq, Alaq, Sujud. Right, so these are 14 places in the Quran where there is a sajda. Right, so whenever you ever come across these in the Quran, you have to do a sajda tilawah, sajda tilawah according to the Hanafi madhab. Right, so now some of you guys might be familiar with this, some of you guys might not be familiar with this. What I would suggest is, if you open the Quran, you will actually find in the Quran like this sajda there. Right, so later on I'm going to show you guys in the Quran. Mawadi is the jama of mawdi', which means location. And then you've got tali, which means reciter. And sami', which means listener. Sami'a yasma'u, the listener. Sawa means the same. Qasada yaqsudu, which means to intend. Sama' al-Quran lam yaqsid. Okay, right, what other words are here? Because a lot of these words you guys have come across it before, and that's why I don't really want to kind of repeat a lot of this. And we can get more done as well. Tujzi is come before as well, but ajza'a yujzi'u ijza', which means to suffice. And then you have dakhala, tala, ajda'atu, sajdatu, and tilawatain. Tilawa means recitation, and tilawatain is dual. Right, tilawatain, 2 recitations. And then you got sajadaha thaniyan. Okay, ومن كرر يكرر تكرير, which means to repeat, say again. Alright, and that's it. Tashahhud, you guys should know that. And salam. Alright, let's do a bit of tarkeeb. So, في القرآن 14. Now, I want you guys to tell me in the comments, why is it 14? Why is it a single fatha on both these words? Let's see if you guys are very familiar with your Arabic grammar. Right. So sajdatan is the tamyiz. في آخر الأعراف أو الرعد النحل في بني إسرائيل. Okay, again, Israel. Why is Israel single fatha? Maryam as well. Furqan, Hajj, Furqan, Namal, Alif Lam Tanzil, Sad, Hamim, Sajda, والنجم, Inshiqaq, Alaq, Sujud. Okay, والسجود مبتدأ. And واجب في هذه المواضع على التالي. تالي is the مجرور معطوف عليه. And then سماع القرآن مضاف مضاف إليه. لم يقصد أو يقصد. تلا يتلو الإمام فاعل. آية السجدة is مفعول به. Okay, يلزم is the فعل, and the فاعل is going to come now, which is سجود. وإن سمعوا وهم في الصلاة. آية is مضاف, and سجدتين is مضاف إليه, and then that becomes a مفعول به. من رجل صلاة لم يسجدوها بعد الصلاة تجزئهم ولم تفسد. صلاتهم فاعل من تلا آية سجدة خارج الصلاة مضاف مضاف إليه ولم يسجدها. This is the جزم. في الصلاة is مجرور فتلاها أجزأته السجدة فاعل عن التلاوتين is times 2 وإن تلاها تلا يتلو في غير الصلاة فسجدها ثم دخل في الصلاة فتلاها سجدها ثانيا ولم تجزئه السجدة is فاعل واحدة is the صفة of سجدة في مجلس موصوف واحد صفة again أجزأته سجدة واحدة من أراد سجود is مفعول به كبر يكبر لم يرفع يديه is times 2. Okay, so originally it was يديني and then you have وسجد ثم كبر ورفع رأسه ولا تشهد. Now you can say لا تشهد, yeah, but then when you got the ataf, when you have la nafil jins and you have an ataf of another la, it's actually better to make it into la tashahudun, right? So I mean, you guys know about the la hawla wa la quwwata, right? So this is something I've actually explained in Ajurumiyah, so you can check it out over there. Yeah, when you have two. So I'm going to put la tashahudun wa la salamun, right? Those are fine. There's 5 scenarios that you can make. And there you have it. That is the tarkib for today. Alright, let's look at the masalas now. What are the masalas over here? Alright, so في آخر الأعراف الرعد نحل بني إسرائيل مريم أولى في الحج فرقان نمل ألف لام تنزيل صاد حاميم سجدة نجم انشقاق علق سجود. Okay, that's not sujud. But those are the 14, right? Those are the 14. Now what you can do here is an exercise. You can open the Quran and you can actually find and locate each one of them. If you can't do that, all you have to do is go to Google, type in Google, what are the 14 places of Sajda according to Hanafis, and they'll show you them. So let me just show you one, what it looks like in this copy of the Quran. It looks like this, look. So it's got on the side written down in Arabic Sajda, and usually it has some sort of like a symbol on the verse there, you can see it. Alright, that's the symbol. So you guys can look for the rest. Now, one of the ones that it mentions is the first in Hajj. So if you go to Surah Hajj, open Surah Hajj, you'll find one near the beginning of Surah Hajj and one at the end. The Hanafis say the one that says the Tilawah is the first one, not the second one. So just keep that in mind. Right, so first of all, let's say there is a guy and he is reading Quran. He's sitting on a chair, he's reading Quran, and you call him the reciter. And you got this guy who is listening, just walking around listening, whether he's intentionally listening or he's just passing by, he's called the listener or the hearer. So the rule basically is this: Sajda Tilawah becomes necessary upon the one who recites and the one who listens, irrespective of if he's doing it intentionally or unintentionally. Right, so he says, وَالسُّجُودُ wajib, sujud is wajib, fi hadihi al-mawadi, in these locations in the Quran, these 14 locations, ala tali, upon the person who's reciting, was-sami', and upon the person who's listening, sawa'un qasada, equally, whether he listened deliberately to the Quran, or lam yaqsud, or he didn't intend. So whether he intended listening to the Quran, or he did not intend listening. Okay, so it could be just someone just walking by. You're reading Quran and someone's just walking by and they heard you recite, but they weren't intending to listen to you. Okay, so that is basically the first masala that's mentioned. Right, second masala that's mentioned. Let's say, for example, like there is a guy and this guy is leading the prayer and he's got some followers behind him. Right, so they're also praying behind him. So the rule basically is this, is that the guy who is leading the prayer, if he recites Sajda Tilawah, one of the 14 places, so whilst he's praying, if he recites one of the 14 places, then he must do Sajda, and so must the people behind him. So because they're following him, the Hanafis say the Imam, his Sajda now becomes necessary upon him and upon the people who are following. Alright, so he says, فَإِذَا تَلَى الْإِمَامُ, when the Imam recites آيَةَ السَّجْدَةِ, the verse of Sajda, سَجَدَهَا, he performs the Sajda, وَسَجَدَ الْمَأْمُومُ مَعَهُ, and the Ma'mum, who is the follower, also perform sajda with him. Okay, now what if the other way around happens? What if a person, now the person behind the imam is not supposed to read Quran whilst he's behind the imam, but let's say, for example, like he just accidentally does read Quran. Then what? So if the person behind reads Quran and the imam hears him, right? The follower does not have to do sajda tilawah, and nor does the imam. And that's it basically. So none of them have to do sajda tilawah because the follower was not supposed to recite. So that recitation of his is like a non-recitation. It's as though it didn't happen. Okay. So then he says, next masala. So if you look at the text then, just to kind of repeat it again. فَإِن تَلَى الْمَأْمُومُ, if the ma'moom recites لَمْ يَلْزَمَ الْإِمَامَ, it's not necessary upon the imam nor the follower as-sujud. Okay, third masala now. Let's say, for example, there's a guy who is sitting outside of this now. Sitting down, yeah, reading Quran. It's supposed to be like a guy sitting there reading Quran. I don't know if you can tell. Now he reads it so loud, everyone in Salat can hear him. You know, sometimes in those mosques, quiet mosques, where there's a guy in the back and he's just reading aloud and someone else is praying. So everyone hears him. So what's going to happen here? So in sami'u, if they, the people in Salat, were to hear this guy, وَهُمْ فِي الصَّلَاةِ, whilst they are in prayer, ayat sajdatin, the ayah of a sajda, min rajulin, from a man, who is laysa ma'ahum, who is not with them in prayer, fi salati lam yasjuduha fi salati, they do not do the sajda in Salat. What should they do? So because they've heard it from someone who qualifies to read the Quran, therefore they have to do the sajda after the Salat. وَسَجَدُوهَا بَعْدَ الصَّلَاةِ. Right, they're going to perform the sajda after the Salat. Okay, right, that's that masala there. Nice color coding there. Okay, and some of you guys actually said that the first time you came across my videos was because of the nice colors that I was using. Right, so S-Khan, you said that. So, mashallah, congratulations. Okay, so وَسَجَدُوهَا بَعْدَ الصَّلَاةِ. Right. Now what if they were, so someone heard the sajda and they thought they should do sajda in the salat. What if they do sajda in the salat? Will that sajda be counted? No, it won't be counted because there is like this issue of like communication. The sajda outside of the salat is not as strong as the sajda inside the salat. Does that make sense? So this is why I know it wouldn't suffice. Lam tujzi'hum wa lam tafsud. So it wouldn't suffice them, but it wouldn't tafsud salatum. The salat would not become nullified. That's the other thing. Right, so if they did do it, it wouldn't suffice them. They still have to do it after salat. But it just wouldn't kind of spoil their salat. Okay, right. Next. After. So the next masla is this. Man tala ayat sajdatin kharij salat. Let's say, for example, there is a guy. He hasn't started salat yet. Let's say he's walking towards the mosque. And he reads a verse from the Quran, right? Let's say from Surah Al-A'raf. And then he goes to the masjid and he prays and he reads the same verse again there. Sometimes, you know, you're going to lead prayer and you kind of like, you say a verse, you're practicing your verses before. So let's say he reads the verse of Sajda from Surah Al-A'raf. All right, so he reads that outside the Salat. So now he has to do Sajda Sahu. I keep saying Sajda Sahu. Sajda Tilawah. And then he enters the salat and he reads the same verse again. And then he does sajda tilawah in the salat. That one sajda that he's done in the prayer, it actually suffices the two. Yeah, suffices the two. Okay, so that one sajda suffices the two. Okay, however, so he says, وَمَنْ تَلَى آيَةَ سَجْدَةٍ, anyone who reads ayat sajda, خارج الصلاة, outside of prayer, lam yasjudha, he does not do sajda, hatta dakhala, he did not do sajda, hatta dakhala, until he entered fi salati, in the prayer, fatalaha, and then recited it again, wasajada lahuma, and then did sajda for the two, ajza'athu as-sajdatu an tilawatin. The sajda for the two tilawas would suffice him. So the sajda for the two tilawas would suffice him. Ajza'athu as-sajdatu an tilawatin. Right? Okay, now what if he actually recited it outside, did sajda, and then entered the salat and recited that same verse again? Would that sajda that he done before salat suffice for the one in salat? No, it wouldn't. Yeah, so like this. So let's say, for example, he recites and does sajda once, and he enters the salat, and he recites that verse again, he has to do the sajda again. It wouldn't suffice. That one cannot be carried into the salat. Right, so you can't do that. Yeah, so he says, وَإِن تَلَاهَا, and if he was to recite it, فِي غَيْرِ الصَّلَاةِ, outside of salat, فَسَجَدَهَا, and performed the sajda outside of salat, ثُمَّ دَخَلَ فِي الصَّلَاةِ, and then he entered into salat, فَتَلَاهَا, and then recited the same sajda again, verse again, سَجَدَهَا ثَانِيًا, he must do the sajda a second time. وَلَمْ تُجْزِئْهُ السَّجْدَةُ الْأُولَى, and the first sajda will not suffice him. Okay, it won't suffice him. Right, next masala. If there's a person and they are in a room and they are learning Quran, for example, and they're reading the verse of sajda multiple times, that same verse, because they have to memorize it, they've read it multiple times. Let's say they've read it 10 times in that room. So do they have to do 10? So the rule is no. If you are in the same location, it doesn't matter how many times you recite that one sajda, like A'raf sajda 10 times or Ra'ad 10 times, then one sajda would suffice you. You wouldn't have to do it 10 times. Okay, so as long as you do it right at the end, suffices. If you read it once and you did sajda, that one sajda would not suffice if you were to read the ayah 9 times after that, for example. Yeah, so that one sajda would suffice for all 10. So man karrara, whoever repeats tilawat sajdatin wahidatin, recitation of one sajda tilawah, fi majlisin wahidin, in one sitting, one gathering, ajza'athu sajdatun wahidatun, one sajda would suffice him. Yeah, okay, but if you read it in different rooms, once you read it in one room and then you went to another room and then you went outside, you would have to do that number of sajdas. Right, one would not suffice. Okay, let's see this next last masala now. How do you do sajda tilawah? Right, so do you have to raise your hands up to your ears, right, and then say Allahu Akbar? No, you don't do that. Right, so how do you do that? So the way you do it, you just simply say Allahu Akbar in whichever posture you're in, whatever posture, and you go down to sajda, and then you say Subhana Rabbil A'la, Subhana Rabbil A'la, Subhana Rabbil A'la. That's it. And then Allahu Akbar, put your head up. So that's all you have to do in sajda tilawah. You do not have to do anything else. That's all you have to do. You could be sitting on the floor, Allahu Akbar, you go down, put your head on the floor, Subhana Rabbil A'la, Subhana Rabbil A'la, Allahu Akbar, then. Right, so you can do it from standing, from sitting. You can even do it like after your prayer. After you finish your prayer, you remembered, oh yeah, I'm supposed to do a sajda tilawah from earlier. Whilst you're sitting, say Allahu Akbar, go down to the ground, and get back up again. That's all. That's basically how you do it. So I hope you guys have benefited today. There are 14 sajda tilawahs in the Quran. It has to be done by the person who reads it and hears it. And if it's done inside of salat, then obviously the imam does it, the followers must follow. If the followers do it, the imam and no one does it. If it's done by a person outside the salat, then everyone has to do it outside of prayer. And if you're going towards salat and you recited it, and then you recited it again inside your salat, one sajda would suffice, not the other way around. And if a person was in a room and they read it multiple times, one sajda suffices all. But if they were in multiple locations and they read it at different times, then they have to do a sajda for each one. And finally, how do you do sajda tilawah? You do not need to raise your hands. You just need to say Allahu Akbar, go down, put your head down, Subhana Rabbil A'la 3 times, and then Allahu Akbar. So I hope you guys have benefit from this. I will see you guys inshallah next time. Hit the like button, subscribe. Patrons, thank you very much for all your support. It really means a lot. I really appreciate all of your kind donations. Anyone who wants to donate to my channel and wants to help me to be able to make good videos, high quality, improve the equipment that I use and software, please check out the description below. You can donate through PayPal and just leave a little message, or you can actually become a patron, which would be like a monthly donation you give. And many patrons actually have perks as well. So check those out as well. Jazakumullah khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.